What's the deal, my people? You know what it is, Don Tony Teflon. I'm back at you another one, and I'm joined by my usual suspect podcast brother, as always, Phil the Issues Guy. What's going on, Phil?
Not much, Tony. Good to be here. Good to talk about some Better Call Saul. I think we missed last week, so it's good to be back here again. And we're getting closer and closer to the new season. July 11th is just around the corner.
Yeah, it's about to start. Let me give a shout out to our other usual suspect podcast partner, Bridge 4. Feel better, Bridge. Bridge is not under the weather. Hope you feel better, Bridge. You know what I mean? It ain't the same without you. Hopefully you get back up in the saddle after you're feeling better and everything else. Listen, it's going to be an interesting show tonight. You know what I mean? Interesting show. We're going to go over what I guess you can consider it a leak. I don't know if it's a leak because they released the episode in the Tribeca Film Festival to the public. They gave no restrictions like hey, you're not allowed to talk about it. They said, here, we're going to give it to you, to the public. Anyone who went to the Tribeca Film Festival could have watched the episode. So it really isn't a leak. It's really they put the episode out. I mean, how do you feel about that?
They chose to put the episode out. I mean, I believe they did ask them in the room, from what I've heard, please don't put this out there, which obviously, it is what it is. But I think this is on AMC. You show the episode 3 weeks before to anybody that can get to New York. So you set up a situation where if people can get there, they can watch the episode. It's not fair. I mean, I've said this before. At this point where the information is out there, I know it's only 3 weeks away, but what they should have done is just released it, done something where you could have paid money to watch a live, like you're watching a pay-per-view fight. Like, watch the pay-per-view at the Tribeca, pay $5.99, have it go to some worthwhile charity or something, and then let everybody kind of watch this episode or sit on this, because it does set up a weird situation where what did they expect to happen? I mean, they
knew it was going to happen. I mean, there's no way they didn't know. Come on, you tell people you could show up and watch the show. You think people ain't going to talk about it? Come on, man. To think that they're not, it would be ridiculous. So I knew I'm going to have to say that they knew this, and that was the deal. This is a call-in live stream, 781-990-8509. We want you to call in. I want you to give your opinion on what you think about this. Again, I 100% think this is what it is. The person went there and seen it. If it was just some plot leak or something like that, that someone said, oh, they got the hold of a script because their mother used to fuck the camera guy's twin brother who was in jail with their cousin's mother. If it was something like that, then I would say, it's suspect. But the fact they released it at the Tribeca Film Festival, all you had to do was show up out there and go to the college where they showed it, and you were able to see it. So
and I will say this, and I know a lot of people could pretend to do this and just add on to it, and it could be a big elaborate ruse. But the people that have jumped in the comment section in the videos that have the leaks in them, there hasn't been one person in a comment section that I've seen that said, I was there, this isn't true. It's usually somebody that's either saying, which could be anybody saying it, but I'm saying there's not at least one person that said, there's people that disagree with it, say this doesn't make sense, I don't think this sounds right to me. But anyone that was actually there, no one's popped in the comment section to say this isn't true. But in fact, I'd say 4 or 5 people that say that they've been there as well say, yeah, this is pretty much how it
sounds like it. The way it's put down, if it's not, this person should write for the show, because it sounds like this is what it was going to be. You know what I mean? So, and I also want to get that clip of the secret character clip. We'll get that up.
Oh, cool. Yeah, absolutely. I have a bunch to say about that too.
We'll talk about that too.
And yes, people, I know people are saying get to the spoilers. We will be saying it, but people could say I talk too much before spoilers. I like to give people all the warning in the world, because for whatever it's worth, if you can never give enough warning, because there's always going to be that one person that pops in there after the 3-minute preamble
and then start complaining, even though it says it right in the title. What we're going over, right? All right, let's get it done. What up to my thugs, nerds, freaks, and geeks? You're now rocking with the best of Don Tony Teflon. As always, if you can, subscribe. Click that bell so you can be notified every time we go live. Let's say what up to the people in here. Look at Rave is in here. Hurry up before I piss myself is what he's saying right here. All right, we'll go with that. JS Homerson is in the building, rocking with a Sterling Sapien is in here. Jackie C is in here. My man 50 Grand Finch Harper in the building there. Arena Vision up in here, rocking with us right now. Jerry M is up in here. We have a bunch of people watching. Make sure you thumbs up. Michelle Hayes is in the building right here. The friendly neighborhood troll, Michelle Hayes, is in the building here. Do you remember? Can you pull the Twitter thing with I'm saying that special comment thing? I have it, but I don't have it.
Let me see it. Let me see if I can find it. Give me a second.
All right. While Phil looks for that, we're gonna go. This is going to be. We're going to be talking about the episode that's about to drop in 2 weeks. It hasn't dropped. Phil's going to get the clip of what he said at the Tribeca Film Festival, right? And I think that is very important because everyone's saying, "Oh, he's just trolling." I don't think so. I really don't think he's trolling. I think he's telling you that there is going to be a new character introduced for the second half of this season. And from what he's saying in this clip, we're going to play it in a second. But from what he's saying, it seems like it's not just going to be a real quick one. He's not going to be in one episode and go on. We're saying he's going to be introduced. He's going to be in every episode until this ends. And is that significant? Does that mean that are they introducing this character so that they could do a spinoff? I know AMC is begging them to do a spinoff, begging them like anything they want.
Begging. They're
anything they want. Like, you know what I mean? Please. Please show us.
You want us to shine your shoes? You want us to get you a bag of popcorn? We'll do anything.
Whatever you want, whatever you need. Just get back in there and give us something.
I do have it when you're ready, Tony.
All right, let's look into it right now.
Okay, let's see if I can get this going. Oh wait, I lied to you. The audio is not playing on it for some reason, but I do have it. Give me a second. I lied.
You send me the link. I could pull it up too. Oh, you can pull it up. You know how to. You have controls of this stuff. You just pull it up there and throw it on the screen and stuff.
The audio's not
and everything else. But I don't think it's a trolling situation. I've been trolled. I think the biggest trolling situation was Paul Bettany, who played the Vision, and he said similarly in WandaVision, "Oh, you got to see this final episode. I'm working with an actor who's a great actor who I always wanted to act with before," and then it turned out to be himself. He played two roles in it, you know, and for that I thought it was weird. I didn't appreciate that. I don't think this is that type of situation. He seems a little bit too excited about it for it to be that support. Chippy, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, the only kind of trolls I think it possibly could be, because I don't think he's fully trolling, and I do have it right now. I don't think he's fully trolling, but I do think the only one that could possibly be a joke is he could be David Cross, his Mr. Show buddy, where he's saying a legend in the industry, and it ends up being David Cross. But there's actually two clips. I forgot to send the second one too, so let's play. This is the first one. Here we go.
I can't tell you because it would give away a surprise for the final episodes. All I'm saying is, in the last 6 episodes, there's a new character played by an actor who will blow your mind. Great actor, a classic of all time, who joins this universe.
Okay, there's that one, and then there's this one where he says something similar.
I know there's lots of great stuff happening that you can't even picture. There's a character coming along, a new character, a scenario that's so cool, and it's played by one of the great actors of our day. I won't tell you.
I think in that second one he gives up a little bit even more to what you were saying in your video. It has to be a De Niro or Pacino, and I personally think it's Anthony Hopkins, and I'll say why. Anthony Hopkins wrote Bryan Cranston a letter about being a crazy huge fan of Breaking Bad. He's done television before with Westworld and has some sort of connection with Westworld with Aaron Paul. So the pieces could get together easily to do it. I don't know exactly what he'll be, but my instinct tells me, or like my first instinct tells me that I think it's going to be Anthony Hopkins. Just because
Bernie's back and she says Leo maybe. I wish it was a Leo. I wish it was someone who was young enough to do a spin-off series about. And I don't think the person's going to be that young. Jackie C says Walken would be awesome.
Walken would be great. Yeah, he's great in everything. Yeah.
He would love, but dude, is Walken considered a great actor of our generation? Like, to me, he is. To you, he probably is. But is he considered that, that upper tier? That's the way he's talking about it.
If we're doing like
that.
If we're doing like a top 5 here, just on quick without going too deep into it, De Niro, Pacino, Brando's dead. Denzel, Anthony Hopkins would be on that list as well.
I put Leo in there too.
Leo's on that list. I'd put maybe Brad Pitt. Someone like Brad Pitt, maybe Tom Cruise is an action hero, but he's not showing up on Breaking Bad or in Better Call Saul. It's going to be an old timer. It's going to be an old legend kind of actor. Pacino could be Pacino's an interesting one because of the Scarface thing. They've, when Vince wrote this, he pitched it as Mr. Chibbs turning into Scarface. So there was obviously a love for Pacino and a love for all of that. And Pacino could do TV. He's done it before with the Angels in America thing.
He did a great job in that Amazon series.
Yeah, in the Amazon series. Because I agree with you with De Niro. I don't think De Niro would do it. I don't think someone like Denzel would do it. I don't think, but I think Anthony Hopkins would do it. I think, and I don't think he's trolling. I don't think it's Bryan Cranston.
We said it twice now. The fact that he said it in 2 different things means it's someone that he's excited about. Timothy's saying people are saying Ron Perlman. I think Ron Perlman fits, but I don't think he's considered a great actor of our generation.
One of the greats of our generation. And obviously,
I don't think you can put Ron Perlman in there. He's Hellboy.
And obviously, the most humorous choice of all is, everyone say it together, Kevin Costner. If they get Kevin Costner. If Kevin Costner shows up, and I'm not the hugest Kevin Costner fan, but with all the salt, you're Kevin Costner. If he's the one, that would be, I'd applaud the show. That'd be a good get.
Kevin Costner or Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage, something like that. Like, he's a legend in his own way.
Well, listen, look at Sly Stallone's got a show coming out, a Mafia TV show.
How about someone like Clooney or something, who doesn't work too often anymore as an actor? Someone like him showing up.
I don't see Clooney as one of our legends of our generation.
Yeah,
I think he's a movie star, but I don't see him as a legend of our generation.
Legend to me means it has to be one of those. Jack Nicholson coming out of retirement. Could Jack come out of retirement for an appearance on Better Call Saul?
Thank you for the super chat, Max. Don Tony Teflon, love from the UK, man. No, thank you for the love, man. Truly appreciate it, man. We pulled up the skull.
But I don't know. Jack's retired. Gene Hackman's another one of the all times. Michael Caine, but both of them are near retirement. But I would say Gene Hackman would be one, but he's not. But he hasn't acted in a long, long time.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I guess we'll have to wait. Jim Carrey, I think, is done. John Skull, indeed. That's right, man.
You got to think that it's somebody that Bob would say is a legend of. So that's where it goes to someone that Bob would look up to. It seems like someone he's excited that he. So that's where. Could it be someone like Harvey Keitel? Maybe.
That's a legend. Harvey Keitel would be. Harvey Keitel would be great for this show.
Yeah, he could show up.
Watch it be Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke, I don't know if he's considered a legend of his time, but I think he'd be good in this show.
He would be.
I think Mickey Rourke could do a good job in the show.
How about a courtroom scene where Joe Pesci reprises his My Cousin Vinny role against Saul in a court case?
Joe Pesci up in there. Everything.
Oh, yeah, Vince. I didn't even look at your comment, Vince. You and me, man. I totally would love. He's in there. I got Kim's a Ute. He calls Kim a Ute or something.
Kelly Johnson, thank you for the super chat. T. Jon Snow spinoff true or trying for attention? I'll answer the question as fast as I can. I think it's true. I think they need something to, and that they're trying to keep the series alive. And so I do think it's true. Thank you for the super chat. I really, really appreciate it. We're gonna do a whole stream about the Game of Thrones, every spinoff, and talk about the Jon Snow. If Bridge wasn't under the weather, we would already have done it. We were just waiting for Bridge to come back.
Harvey Keitel is a good one because he doesn't he doesn't work.
Samuel
quite-
Jackson is considered would be considered.
Yeah,
a
he would,
legend.
and he does. You know, he'll do anything.
Yeah, I would love to have Samuel Jackson. That would be amazing.
Samuel L. Jackson would be great, and he's also on record being a fan of Breaking Bad, like especially during. I haven't heard him say too much about Saul, but I remembered during Breaking Bad he was a huge fan.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood's too old, Michelle. I just don't think he could pull it off. I think he's way past his prime. But yes, he's definitely a legend of not our generation, but of. Yeah, it all depends what generation you're talking about, too. As Bernie says, the Generation X is it the baby boomer generation? I mean, whose generation is he talking about here exactly? Because Clint Eastwood's definitely, that's in our lifetime. You know, he's you got to give him probably 90 years old. I mean, William Shatner would be amazing too. But give me some William Shatner in there.
Yeah, Shatner. Warren. Someone said Warren Beatty.
Is Warren Beatty still alive? I haven't heard nothing from him.
His career is it? Anthony L is yelling at us, and they said not to talk about the episode. Well, we weren't there.
We weren't there. All right, let's go into the episode. All right, so Phil's gonna read a little bit about this episode, and then we're gonna stop, and then we're gonna talk about it again. Make sure that you call in 781-990-8509. It's on the crawl on the bottom of the screen. Call in. Beef and Bernie, why don't you call in just to say hi? Because I haven't heard your voice in a while. You know what I mean? So you should just call in just to say what up, man. Jeff Bridges would be amazing. I was gonna do his show, that new show he's got out right now, The Old Man. But my Hulu said messing with me on my Hulu, so I gotta get.
When we watched Outer Range, I was convinced Josh Brolin was trying to play Jeff Bridges in that role.
Thank you for the super chat, Tristy. Thanks for always great content. Did you mention Tommy Lee Jones as a U.S. Marshal and handing Kim or witnesses to that would be great. And you go, listen, I want to search every outhouse, doghouse.
He can't handle this buffoonery, but he would be good on the show.
Yeah, he would be great. Donald Sutherland is a good one. Jeff Goldblum, yes.
Cinema Dave said, I'm leaning towards Al Pacino for the Scarface thing. Yep. Hyper says
someone from what he's saying is going to be in the whole. Someone who could do that the rest of the season.
Okay,
one episode.
Before we get into the spoilers, because I do want to talk about something you said in your video about it maybe introducing a character to lead to a spinoff. Besides that point, I kind of want to look at one more question here before we go off this. What kind of character is this going to be? Is he going to be connected to the cartel? Is it a law enforcement agent of some sort? Like what's his name on Dexter? That's put everything together. The Ozark has a character like that pops up at some point too. Some sort of private investigator type thing.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. It's someone trying to figure out the death. Don't believe the wife hires. You know what I mean? Like I don't believe he killed. Well, we'll get into that. But
is it going to be? Do you think it's going to be in the Gene timeline, or is it going to be it? Because I think it's going to be a character in the Gene timeline. Personally, maybe.
Well, then that would be good because you wouldn't have to do a lot of shoots. You'd be able to do it real quick in every episode. You know what I mean? So it'd be fast. And if we get a whole Gene episode for the end, then it would be out there. You know what I mean? And so it could be in the Gene timeline.
And Jerry throws in Tom Hanks, but yeah, I think it's an interesting question that we're asking an important question of who this actor is because that's what Bob threw the buzz there, and it's interesting to think the legendary actor
did it, so we have the right to talk about it. He put it out there.
He did, but
on purpose too. So it's not like people are going to watch the show without that. So the fact that he did it, you know what I mean?
You can't wait, Tony. This Tribeca Film Festival ended up being a big pot of gold of information, and he couldn't wait to get that crap out of his mouth. And with him, I think he's so excited about this whole thing with this actor. He just can't wait to get it out of his line. Vacuum cleaner guy in Gene's timeline, possibly a new vacuum cleaner guy, maybe. But again, anyways, he gave that information. I think it takes away from the important question here of what kind of character is this? Is this going to be someone that prosecutes Kim in the Jimmy timeline? Is this going to be someone that's prosecuting the Walter White case and trying to put everyone down that was connected to it, and eventually Gene gives himself up to. Like, there's a lot of interesting possibilities for, or it could he be connected, like with Tony's theory about the cabbie Jeff, somehow connected to Jeff's handler. Like Jeff's not top of the food chain; he's the guy working for Jeff. The equivalent of Jack, the Nazi guy in for Breaking Bad, like a character like that's being introduced at the end as a true, our true enemy is that to be disclosed itself. Like our true enemy comes out here.
Mm-hmm. Let's say give a shout out to the beautiful, inside and out, beautiful mother. I wish I could go to the land of down under to hang out with her and especially all her friends. Everyone's gorgeous down there. Carlaway is in the building rocking with us. Thank you so much. Taking your time all the way from Australia to come and say what up and rocking with us. So follow her if you can on Instagram. She posts beautiful videos on Instagram, and her singing and her family's just gorgeous. So just and everyone, her friends are gorgeous. I just don't understand what's going on in the land down on the.
Yeah,
I just think that I need to go. Me and Phil need to get there, and that's it.
I think that's a necessity.
Yeah, we got to go out there. We can't play around with this. We got. We got to get it down. We got to get to the land.
It's interesting, Tony. I'm not going to read it right now, but we did get we didn't get a voicemail. We got a text message, but it's a question about From. We will get back to talking about From. We promise.
I promise you. We'll come back to From. We will do a live stream next week on From. I promise you that. I promise you we'll go all over for From. We won't be there.
Ooh, Steve, would you consider Steve Buscemi a legend?
No, not to that extent. Not to that extent. I'm not saying I wouldn't think he'd be good for the role, but I can't see it being from that extent. You know what I mean? It's all about that. You know what I mean?
It is going to be interesting.
He's saying it's a generational talent, basically.
Yeah,
there's only a couple of people who fit. Jack Nicholson fits that bill. You know what I mean? It's Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. You know, it's not Kiefer Sutherland. He's a good actor, but he's not generational talent.
Jack Bauer's not showing up to hunt down.
That would be funny.
Yeah. Tell me what you know, Goodman. Tell me what you know.
All right, let's do it. We're gonna go into this. This is the episode. All right, episode 8. We're gonna break it down right now.
Am I reading this through, or should I stop after certain?
We'll stop like a little.
Yeah, just don't be afraid to stop me. After Lalo calms Jimmy and Kim. After Lalo calms down Jimmy and Kim, I want to stop right there because right there that leaves a lot of information. How long is that scene? The biggest question I want to get right off the bat, and we're going to read this whole thing obviously and get through it, but you can check it out on Tony's channel or my channel if you want to hear it uninterrupted. So does Jimmy find out that Kim knew Lalo was alive?
I don't think at this point, but I think it will come up. But not right this second. It doesn't seem like there's enough time because it seems like it's taken right point. He's still shocked. He's going crazy. Dude is dead in their face. You know what I mean? I just don't think they have time to go into that. I think after this episode, if they make it through the episode, we'll talk about it when we get there. Then they would have something right now.
Okay, so let's continue here. After Lalo calms down Kimmy and Jim, he tells Jimmy to go to Gus's house, driving Lalo's car, take the gun and the camera from his car, knock on his door and kill him with the gun and take a picture of his body. Lalo doesn't say that this is Gus's house. He just tells Jimmy how to get to his house and shoot the guy that opens the door, guy with the glasses that looks like a librarian. I think the interesting thing that that people that have watched the episode already in the comment sections have pointed out here, Lalo's plan was not to have Kim or Jimmy shoot Gus. It was to distract, to make it look like the attack was happening there, and then have Gus leave and go to the lab.
Yes, that's what he's trying to draw him out. Like he knows all the protection is going to be there, so he wants to draw him away from that and get him out in the open over there. I mean, they have to pay it off. They had the dude sitting in there like it. You know what I mean? The whole time they have to pay that off. They can't have him get whacked in his house after they did that whole situation because that's his scheme, right? His whole thing is to prove that this is the mother of all labs, right? So they have to have that go down there. So that right there, obviously, that sounds very plausible. Everything that we're hearing right now sounds exactly how I think the show would definitely play it.
Here we get into the most interesting section of it, I would say. Jimmy convinces Lalo to send Kim instead because he reasons that whoever lives there is more likely to open the door for a woman in the middle of the night than a man. Kim panics and tries to refuse profusely, but Jimmy keeps insisting that she should do it. It's a very ambiguous situation. It was hard to tell whether Jimmy was doing this to save Kim by sending her away from Lalo or was trying to save himself by sending Kim to do something very dangerous. In this scene, Kim is panicking really badly. Great acting by her. But for some reason, Jimmy looks mischievous and callous, almost like Lalo. Kim is...
Yeah, we'll stop after this. Right after that. All right, so they're saying that
there's a lot there.
Jimmy, like, bitch comes out of his ass. Hey, no, I'm not. I think you're better off sending Kim because so they'll be more likely to open up a door for a woman. So it comes down to, why is he saying this? Is he saying it because he feels that he's getting her away from Lalo, which is getting her out of trouble? Or is he saying it because he's fucking scared to death and he don't give a fuck? He'd rather see something happen to her. What do you think? Because they're trying to make the point that he seems sinister, like you know what I mean? Like he seems sinister while he's saying it.
But Tony, this is where we get into how much of this is the leak is real, the spoiler's real, but how much of this is the view of the person watching this, writing this, that they think they see that in him. What we know of him from beginning of Breaking Bad to when we're introduced to him is he's a slimy cockroach that's going to sell out people. He's that dude, and I know people say he grabbed Kim when Lalo showed up, so he was trying to protect her, but he's still that dude that will talk a big game. I'm going to get your back, and then someone steps to you for a fight, and he's running in the other direction. Oh, I'm coming. Oh, I'm back. I was just getting warmed up. Like there's a How I Met Your Mother episode with Marshall where he gets into a fight with somebody, and Barney's like, I'll get in the fight. And he takes off and runs like a mile around. He's like, I was just warming up. I'm ready for the fight now.
Same thing like in a house party when kid gets beat up. By full force, and he goes, yeah, we had your back. He's like, yeah, way back.
Saul is a little bit of way back. And in that situation, truly faced by his life, I don't know if he's going to sell Kim out. A couple people in comment sections said that's the biggest problem they have with this. He wouldn't do that to Kim. This is why I asked you that first question earlier, Tony. If the information does come out somehow in the heat of the moment where Kim's less surprised and goes, I knew he was here. Oh, I didn't think you'd come back, or something, would Jimmy in the instinctual moment get pissed off enough to throw Kim under the bus like that in a callous way, thinking you lied to me this whole time? And I think there might be something there.
I just don't see how they have that conversation unless, if Lalo would have to say something, how would they know that Kim knows she's alive? There's no way for that to even come up.
The only way would be,
from what they're saying, if this is taking place directly right after the scene's still continuing, right? Mm-hmm. There's no way for them to have that conversation at this particular time. There's a body on the floor. This guy's got a gun. He's telling them to go basically murder somebody right now and take a picture of it to prove that you murdered this person. You have to, and then make it back. Not only you have to murder, you have to kill him, and you got to make it to fuck back with the proof. This is what I need you to do, right? And everything else. So, yeah, it just, No,
it would be tough. It's. So do you think, and I'm going to throw the question back on you, because personally, I think it's going to seem like Jimmy is selling her out, and it's going to be that moment that you talked about and we talked about 2 weeks ago, that he does something he can't take back. In the moment, he makes a poor choice for whatever reason he does it. We can get into whether I think it maybe comes out. The only moment because you're right. I think the only way it comes out is if Lalo reads the situation and turns to Kim and goes, "You're not surprised to see me. You knew I was still around, huh?" Or something like he makes her. in the moment, like makes her eyes and says something like that. But I don't think that's going to be the case. That's a reach on my
And people saying that, oh, Jimmy grabbed Kim when Lalo came. He grabbed her, but he didn't throw his body in front of her.
So he put her in front of him, I believe.
If you really look at it, she's in front of him. He used her as a fucking shield. Like he looked like Macho Man hanging behind Miss Elizabeth. That's what it looked like to me when I seen it. That motherfucker.
Don't hit me, honky talk man. Don't hit me. So you think, and that, so throwing that back to you, Tony, you think he's just a slimy cockroach, and in that moment could theoretically sell her down the river?
I don't. I think if it has to come out in the and I'm going on what we know, right? It just doesn't. If we look at the Gene scenes, we look at the the Breaking Bad scenes of the phone call that he's supposed to get. We look at the way that he comes into Breaking Bad. It just does. He's too happy of a guy. It doesn't seem like he did something had to seem like a plan. Like I do believe he, for whatever reason, thinks that if she gets out the house, she's gonna be safer out the house.
Right. So
he wants to get her out of the situation, but she may not take it like that. You know what I mean? She may see it like, you motherfucker, you sent me to fucking go to get killed. You know what I mean? So I think that this is how the rift develops in between them. Like there has to be a reason why she's not around. I think this is what develops the rift right here, because she may be, because the same thing that happened like in Breaking Bad, right? Walt thought this boy was dealing for the skinheads in the end. He thought that he was down. It wasn't until he realized that, you know what I mean, they were holding him hostage down there. You know, so I think it's a situation like that going on.
And you very, very much could be right. And I just want to he's not the same guy in Breaking Bad if she's dead at the start. Someone in the comment, I can't see it over here to put it on screen, but Space Monkey said in the live chat, Jimmy isn't that shitty of a person to sell Kim out with no reason. That's yet to be determined. I think I'm going to say that most likely Tony and you guys in the chat that are saying this and that have all said it, he's not really going to sell her out. He's trying to do it to protect her. Tony, I think that's genius what you just said about that Kim could view it in a different perspective, because Kim is a con person that's going to look at this as another example of someone that cares about her, selling her out in her perspective, like we saw with their mother, or other times like where we eventually connect this to the last Kim flashback scene we're going to see about why she left town initially. So
and it's back that they said that he looked sinister. He may be doing that, trying to, you know, not try to befriend Lalo, but you know what I mean, but try to
be cool.
Be cool with him, you know. Hey, you know what I mean, like cozy up to him, and she may look at it like, you dumb motherfucker. You sending me out here to my death, blah, 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 blah situation. No, remember, you can, if you have an opinion, please call in 781-990-8509. Especially like right now, we're talking about this section. If you have anything to say, if you think Kim is going, if Jim is selling you out, call in, let us know. If you think no, that's not the pace, call in, let us know. Try to keep it in this section when you call in.
Either way, we're gonna have a scene where Jimmy tries to talk his way out of why he did it.
Oh yeah.
No, I did it because I was trying to help you. What are you talking about?
And I think that that also comes up to Lalo, her knowing. You know what I mean? I think that leads into that whole situation. You know, so there's blame on both sides there.
And so it's interesting. I mean, I think likely most people that say he wouldn't really sell Kim out and a misunderstanding of some sort makes a little bit more sense. I also think that, and I've said it a few times, the Jimmy that we see in Breaking Bad is a perspective from Walt or from Jesse's perspective. So we only see kind of a two-dimensional character. We don't really know what's going on behind those cold eyes. So he could be compartmentalizing all these horrible things that he went through, and he's just, all we see is the hey face, and the only time we see the real him is for a second in the desert when he's broken down, or when Jesse's beating the shit out of him and finds out about the poisoning of the kid. Like those are the only moments we kind of see Jimmy slip out, for no pun intended, slip out for a second. But most likely you are right in the way that I don't think he changed that much. I don't think anything's pushed him to be callous. Something would have to draw him, but he is a slimy cockroach that is the dude that's going to run from the fight instead of help you. And perhaps in a moment of fear, he makes a fucked up mistake and sells Kim down the river.
All right. I think we covered that. Let's go to the next one.
Let's go. Okay. Kim looks utterly betrayed when she heads out the door. Okay, just before we end that, because that's the last line of that feeds right into what you're saying, that regardless of the intention, and it actually makes more sense with Jimmy that even when he has good intentions, he destroys everything. It's like Chuck says, everything you touch, I'm paraphrasing, everything you touch is going to be destroyed, even when you're trying to do good things. So he's trying to do something good here, but ultimately she views it as a betrayal. That would be even stronger to. So I'm almost going to your side. I'm arguing myself out of the argument, Tony. Okay, so Kim looks utterly betrayed. She ends up going to Gus's house, knocks on the door, pulls the gun out. Before she can pull the trigger, Mike comes up from behind her and yells Miss Wexler and pushes her into the house. Mike asks what's going on. She says that Lalo will kill Jimmy and gets mad at Mike. She says something along the lines of, you said you were going to protect us. And Mike leaves for Jimmy's place. So and I just want to say, from this point on, we don't know what happens to Kim. We don't know where Kim goes. I believe she's at Gus's house right now, and Mike leaves to go to Saul's house. Essentially, Gus's people must go to the lab at this point to try to secure him. So, what about this section? I mean, there's not much to dig too deep.
No, it's not, but it does cover up the fact that, he wasn't there. Like he's supposed to be there. He said he was going to protect it, and he got conned by Lalo, you know what I mean, to pull the people, all the people up in there, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it does cover that up, you know what I mean, and why she would be mad at him, you know what I mean?
And it's another continuation of another thing that Mike is going to blame on himself. He's going to take this all on himself, that he screwed this up, that Howard's death is not on Kim and not on Jimmy. It's the same thing as the German guy. It's on himself. And what do I say? Phil, are my dreams as my consciousness seems to be? Yes, they are. Kelly Johnson, you have the best super chat donations, and Tony's real lucky to have you in the live chat, and you popped in my chat sometimes with her super chats. You're the man, Kelly Johnson.
And that's right. People were wondering, Kelly does have a Johnson, just in case you're wondering.
Yes. That was one of the most fun moments in After Dark history when Tony figured out the difference right there. Kelly did not help the decision. So Mike, I think this is going to just be another example of another brick in Mike's wall. Essentially, he's going to take this on the chin, and they get into this more with more into this with. Sorry. So yeah, you should have corrected. Back at Jimmy's house, Lalo ties Jimmy up and heads to the laundromat. There's a funny part during this scene where Jimmy says, "It wasn't me, it was Ignacio," just like in his intro to Breaking Bad. A couple people have pointed out that's bullshit. Why does he even mention Nacho? Why does he pull out? And this is, I'll again say, my whole thing with this is when Saul is in a moment when he's tied up, he's going to blame everything he can on somebody else. And that's the first name, and it's the name he can pop into his head. He's like, oh, it's Nacho's fault, it's Ignacio's fault. And it's a little callback to Breaking Bad. That's it.
I think so. I think people wanted it to go more than that. People wanted it to mean something. You know what I mean? When they heard him say it. And I really don't think it. I just think he's just blaming anyone he can. He thinks that this is the person that he could blame to get out of this situation. And that's just what he does, you know.
Apple New Moon in the live chat says, no one talks about the Mike versus Tyrus rivalry on being Gus's best man. Tyrus failed and why he got into the super lab with Gus as a hostage. And yeah, we get into that I think this also, if this is all true, it shows more why Gus is connected more with Mike by the Breaking Bad timeline. And those are his men, especially when we get to this point. Lalo gets to the laundromat before Gus gets there and ambushes him. He kills all of Gus's men and forces him to show him the underground lab at gunpoint. Throughout the whole time, he's recording with his camera for Don Eladio. In the basement, Gus kicks the cable that's connected the lights to cause a blackout, uses the gun he stashed away in the forklift to mortally wound Lalo in the complete darkness. Lalo gets...
Let's take it right from there, right from there, because that's a whole lot right there.
Yeah, that's a whole lot.
You know, I think now I know a lot of people that they're going to complain about this is that it seems like Lalo's going out too soon,
or it's a stupid Lalo plan. I've heard some people also throw in our comment sections. This seems like a dumb plan by Lalo.
Well, you know, he's serving his purpose. His purpose was just to give proof that this place existed. That's all he has to do. So in order for you to see him do other things, what else is there for him to do?
Yeah.
After that, you know, once he completes that mission, what's Lalo's purpose after that? There really isn't one for him. So I don't think so. I think that the whole thing would play out exactly the way they say. I don't see that being. I thought that he was the way they showed the wire there, the way they showed him plant the gun there. You knew the gun had to come into play.
Mm-hmm.
You knew that the lights were going to be a factor. You know, I know that's what people say. Oh, maybe he's going to turn the lights on and blind them, but it's always been more feasible that he kicks the light, turns him off, and shoots somebody in the dark.
Now, Tony, I think this is an example of something that happens a lot in TV shows, or not super a lot, but it happens a lot in this universe. It happened with Aaron Paul, and it was early enough in the series so that they could do it. An actor delivers more. I think Howard did this too. The actor that plays Howard delivers more than the part on paper. Tony Dalton came here, and Lalo could have been sort of one note last act villain that has a lot of things happen. And Tony Dalton came in here and gave you one of the most capable villain characters that we've seen on TV in a long time. We've seen characters try to copy him, like the character on Ozark that was like a pale comparison of Lalo. We've seen other shows try to give you Lalo-like characters to fail at what Tony Dalton pulls off with this character. So when we get to this point, any way that you take him down is, especially if you read it on paper in this context, seems a little confusing. They didn't little finger him. They didn't write him stupid. He actually had a pretty good plan. Gus just outsmarted him. And that's what they're trying to set up here, that Gus was one step ahead of him. And this again leads into why he's always one step ahead of Heisenberg, who is probably if we put all these minds together, the three of them on a poker table, Gus is probably going to win. He's the one that and he has Mike on his side. So and that's like a not advantage. That's like when people go in Star Trek and they're like, captains, well, Kirk has Spock. So that's done deal right there. When you have that person on your side, and Gus essentially has Spock with Mike, like the guy that's going to figure a way out of every situation. And so it's just like Gus.
I also say it's also like a situation like Boba Fett. Boba Fett wasn't supposed to be a huge character. Like, he wasn't written to be this huge star.
Nope.
He was written to have a simple role, grab up Han Solo, and he's done. You know what I mean? But fans liked the costume, they liked the jetpack, they liked him, and he became bigger than what he was supposed to be, to the point where they made a whole series about the guy and everything else. But that was never the intention. This guy outplayed the role, right? He did a better job than was expected to be done. So now people are looking at him like he's Superman, he's this and that, and he did such a great job with this character. You can go on shows, as many of shows like that. Omar from The Wire was only supposed to be in the one episode. And I mean, for the season, he wasn't supposed to come back, Omar. It was supposed to be over, but it was portrayed so greatly that they had to keep Omar around, and they kept him around. But he wasn't supposed to be there for all those seasons, right? So certain people outplay the part that they're given. You know, George R. R. Martin said that about the chick who played the wildling woman who took
Asha.
Asha. He's like, if he would have seen that actress play that part, he would have wrote better stuff for her to do in the book.
And I do want to address what a couple people said in the chat. Yes, Walt did beat Gus in the end, but it took a lot. It took a lot of effort. It took him going with Saul, getting Saul on his side with concocting a plan, using someone like Hector, and really getting into him. So yes, Walter is the king of the mountain on that heap. I might have said that Gus was, but still not 99 times, or if I'm betting on someone in a battle between the three of them, most times I'm going to bet on Gus. Walt's going to get him sometimes, Lalo's going to get him sometimes, but it's my speculation that Gus would get people more often than not compared to everyone else. But yes, Walt got him that once after Gus beat him how many times in a row in different situations and had Walt under his thumb. Walt is a lucky mother grabber when it comes down to it too. In a couple of situations, it was luck too, and timing and being in the right situation. But yeah, Walt did beat him. Absolutely.
And Gus didn't get where he is on Breaking Bad by being lucky. You know, he's got that reputation of where he's gotten from being crafty, and you need a major takedown. This is a big takedown for him to make people respect him more and everything else. You know, that he was able to get the better of this guy.
But Walt did win. He was, and that's the whole point of Breaking Bad at the end. He beat the Nazis. He got the money to Walt Jr. theoretically.
He turned Gus to Two-Face.
Yep, and he went to jail, and he avoided going to jail and died in a lab with he didn't hear the song, but with a song about his crystal meth playing in the background. And will we get? And we'll get back into the spoilers in a second. But will we get a similar happy-ish ending for Saul, in the sense that it's going to be, he's going to win in a way? Is he going to win, Tony? We talked about this last week. Is he going to win?
It depends what a win would be. If a win is that he's going to be with Kim and they're going to go off into the sunset, then no, then they're not. He's not going to win that way.
Is he going to win by clearing his name somehow?
No, he's not clearing his name. It's not clear. I think that, you know, when we get to the end of this and we'll start talking more, that he's not cleared. I think he's got, you know, this in the end, Walt won, but he died, right? But he was going to die anyway. Like, yep. From the jump of the show, that's the whole show. He's dying. That's why he goes into doing what he's going to do. I think that he has to either go die or go to jail in the end. I think that maybe sacrifice himself, take the heat to keep Kim out of jail or something. But I think he has to go to jail.
Yeah. And I'll get into this more in a different situation. But yes, I agree. I think he has to pay for something.
Kelly John said, T, who would Saul have to call if you put hands on him? There'd be no one for him to call, because if I laid hands on him, I hit him once, it's a wrap. Bob Odenkirk wouldn't stand a chance versus Don Tony Teflon. It's pretty obvious. He's too old. He's out of shape. It just wouldn't work. You know what I mean?
I don't know, Tony. It depends which Bob Odenkirk. Are we talking about like the nobody Bob Odenkirk? I believe in Tony Teflon. I do. But I don't know if the nobody Bob Odenkirk would, I don't know. That'd be a tough one for you. But
I don't know. I may give him that Dusty Rose bionic elbow, and it may be over with that one.
I will say I would pay to see Tony in the ring with Howard and Jimmy at the same time, like Howard and Jimmy versus Tony in a boxing match.
I would love to do it. Put your money on the Don. Big E, thank you for the super $5 donation. Truly appreciate that, my brother.
Jonathan Kelly, his bodyguard would whoop your ass, though.
He could try. He could try. He could try. He could try. You know, he could try.
Yeah, John Wick Odenkirk Sterling. Okay, so let's continue here. And where are we? After everything's over, okay. So Lalo's in complete darkness. Lalo gets shot in the upper chest neck area. He looks at Gus one last time and laughs before dying. So is this going to be? Do you think this is going to play better on screen than it does in words? I think that's an obvious thing, but I think this is going to be a lot more exciting in the way it plays out in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the whole thing. He's saying he's filming this whole thing at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. So he gets it's filming when he walks down the steps. Maybe that's how he gets the drop on him, because he's trying to go down the steps in there. And while he's filming and holding a gun at the same time, he can't really go as fast. That's how he's able to kick the light from him and stuff. And is that film being live streamed? It is the case. Is he live streaming with that, or is it's just a tape?
Yeah, this is pre-live streaming. It's got to be tape.
So how does it get back to the Don? You know what I mean?
Maybe Gus decides that it's because he has to explain Lalo's absence. Okay, so in the Breaking Bad timeline, they know about the super lab, right?
Yeah.
So
this has to be. That's what I'm saying. If he's filming it, how is that? And that's how he finds out. How does that tape get back to the Don to let him know what's going on there? Yeah. If that's the case, you know what I mean? Because Gus could find the camera and just break it, and this was like, no, it's not going. No one's going to know nothing.
And if he has unless he already sent the first part of the tape off to him, like the tape he's making now isn't what the one he made underground that we saw a couple of episodes ago. He already put that one in the mail, and he's taking another video in this situation. So eventually it does come. They come and check out the lab and say, "Oh, we heard you have a lab somewhere," and Gus decides to tell them. We got a super chat donation. Says, anybody else want to get the slop top from the sexy Mrs. Kettleman and that bad bunny Kim Wexler? I bet she gives a hard subpoena on retainer, my guys.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. You know, I would say that I think that she's, I'm going to put it like this. I would say that she wouldn't be too hard to please seeing the man that she married.
Are you talking about Kim or Kettleman?
I'm talking about Kim.
Okay.
I'm talking about Kim, me personally. I don't think that she would be too. Who is he saying here? Kettleman?
He's saying both. He said both. Both.
Yeah, so I'm talking about Kim because that's who I'm dealing with right now. I would say that, she wouldn't be too hard to please dealing with the guy that she's married to. I don't think that he would be able to come on behind me per se, not unless she's into like foot looking, and I'm not willing to do that. That would be the only way, but he could outperform me. But any other way, I just don't think he's man enough.
Odenkirk, again, you're throwing the gauntlet down for Odenkirk.
I am. Odenkirk, come see me, Odenkirk. You are put Ken put on the line. We'll figure it out.
Get in the ring. Tony says, "Get in the ring."
Put it on the line. We'll see how it happens. And Big E, thank you for the super chat. Says Tony Dalton was perfectly cast as Lalo. Also, I recommend the show where he's the main character called says Sir Olivia on HBO Max. I'll definitely check that out. I've never seen that one. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to perfectly casted people on certain series, he is perfectly casted. I mean, when I start looking at other people that you can consider, Sean Bean as Ned Stark, Pedro Pascal as Oberyn Martell, Omar. I can't think of his name. Oh my God, Michael
White
as Omar. There's
James Gandolfini as Tony Soprano.
James Gandolfini as Tony Soprano is perfect. There's a lot of people, but he's on that level of casting, without a shadow of a doubt. That he's a perfect person to the role. He brings gravitas to the role.
Jason Alexander's George Costanza playing a Larry David.
Listen, he did a great job. I don't think I could see anyone else playing George Costanza.
No.
That goes for Lane Bettis too. I don't think I can see anyone else playing that character.
I could see someone else playing Jerry Seinfeld on that show. He's the only one.
Jaleel White as Urkel. Yeah, you have to say Jaleel White was.
He almost was on the Cosby Show the character of Rudy was originally supposed to be a boy, and it came down to him and the character of that Keisha Knight Pullum, and she ended up winning it out. And but the other actor, the one that was going to initially be on the show, was Urkel. So it's good that he didn't get that part to eventually get Family Matters.
Without a shadow of doubt, but that's a perfect role too. You know, Sherman Hemsley as George Jefferson.
Oh my goodness!
You know, you go Carol O'Connor
as
Archie Bunker.
Archie Bunker, which is horrible that he played that character so well, but he did. He did so damn well. So damn well.
He's really good. But he was also good in the heat of the night.
Okay,
too.
but I want to get into what Mark A. Houston says in the live chat, because I've heard a couple of people in both our comment sections. I saw this that they're going to connect the Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul with Kim dies in the plane crash, the Breaking Bad plane crash. You know, the one is it season 3 or season 2 that ends in the plane crash. She dies in that plane crash.
No.
I don't think so either. I think it's a reach. It's fun to talk about because we're all we all have temporary insanity. I feel like what they're doing to us with this split season, like leaving off on that Howard point and then making us wait 6 weeks to watch new episodes is temporary insanity.
She has to come back for the Gene scenes. The Gene scenes wouldn't work if she doesn't come back.
There's no one else. I mean, if we think about who he has to encounter, even if he comes back or does whatever, there's not many other people he could interact with to have meaning besides Kim. Kim needs to be around. And
he has to be. I mean, you could see him in like he's sad about where he's at and he's longing for the days gone past. The only reason he'd be longing for that is if this chick has to come back into his life and he messed up somehow and he feels like he did something wrong with her.
And we'll finish this. Well, we're going to finish the spoiler thing or the leak thing. But I think everything I read in this and the fact that Lalo is taken care of in episode 1 of these 6 episodes back.
Yep.
How else does Kim die? I don't see another scenario legitimately. Was the only way she could possibly have died, in my mind, in a legit way that isn't forcing it, is Lalo killing her to prove a point to Jimmy if Jimmy refuses to do what he says. And I don't see Gus or Mike doing anything to her. In fact, I think Mike, after all of this, will protect her even more. He's going to be upset about the Howard thing, but I think this brings them closer. I don't see a scenario, and people that think that Kim is going to die, please call on in, leave us a voicemail, 781-990-8509, leave us a comment. I want to know the people that think Kim's going to die. Now that if we accept that this leak is true, Lalo's gone, what scenario makes sense for Kim to die? I don't see one.
He can't enter Breaking Bad like he did if she's dead. You know what I mean? He can't be that same character if he's dead. She's dead. There's just no way that would happen. So I just don't see it going down like that. Gillian, Gillian says he doesn't plan on anymore. Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad. We'll call it the Breaking Bad universe. A lot of people, and I have heard him say that, but a lot of people have said that about a lot of different shows until the money comes in. You know what I mean? When the money comes in, you know what I mean? It's a play. Everyone could say what they want to say in the end, but when the money is right or too overwhelming to pass up, you have to do it. There's just no way around it. You can say a lot of different things, but when they say, listen, we're gonna give you $100 million for your bank account, and you say, Dad, I got kids, I got grandkids, I gotta take the dough. How stupid am I gonna be? What else am I gonna do? I'm just gonna sit home and rest on my laurels. I might as well write something for $100 million. I'm gonna fucking take the money, and that's just the way it goes. So they could say what they want, yes, and sometimes saying that is posturing, right? You're posturing to the network. You don't want to go to the network and say, hey, we're getting done with Better Call Saul. I can't wait. I hope we go do something else. You can't really do that. You can't say that stuff because you're trying to posture to get these people to back the Brinks truck up. So you got to let them believe that you're willing to walk away from it all. You have to put that out there. And if you keep putting that out there, then they have to keep coming back to you with an offer. And that's just the way it is.
Two things. One, I don't disagree with what you just said. You make some good points, but I will say that Vince and Peter have Dave Chappelle upside in them. They have the ability to say if they don't think they could do something good in this world, but they also have supreme confidence. And if they thought they could do something good, they'll take that money. What I think is going to happen, and this is just me, and I think what this more has to do with, besides just the money, because they're going to get paid right now after these two great series with whatever they do. What's going to happen is, on a much lesser extent, they're gonna try the Kurt Sutter thing. Kurt Sutter tried to get away from Sons of Anarchy and shows like the Shield and like shows like that. He did Bastard Executioner, and I know some people like it, but it freaking failed. And he went right back to the Mayans, right back to his universe. I think I know for a fact that Vince and his team, I don't know if Peter's a part of it too, are developing a Western, and they're working that project. If that project hits, it's a hit, it goes good and pushes on. We probably won't see another Breaking Bad thing for a long period of time. If it doesn't, they're going to come back and get the money and do a Gus prequel series. There was something that the actor that plays Gus said within the last day or two, that Vince Gilligan turned to him and said, it's not over yet. Like, implied to him that something else could happen. So to Tony's point, that's the closest we've heard anything. I think the Gus thing is certainly a possibility, or maybe a anthology kind of series where we get several short stories within the Albuquerque universe type of thing that we might get at some point. Maybe every once in a while the band gets back together to put out a short film or something. I could definitely see something like that more than all of them get together for another full series. I think we're going to get mini series / things more like El Camino rather than another full series at AMC.
Yeah, I could easily see a Gus prequel. They could definitely do that.
But the next thing Vince is doing is a Western. I'm 90% sure that they've said that the next project all of them work on won't be a Albuquerque universe thing, that he's got fatigue on it. He doesn't want to overdo it, and he might come back to it. He's saying never say never, but they're taking a break.
Well, look, Chris Evans said that about fucking Captain America, but lo and behold, here comes a new Captain America movie after his last couple of things didn't really hit that big.
He's not getting
now he's willing to come back as Captain America. Look at Kit Harington in the Jon Snow thing. He went out, he did his thing, and it didn't really hit for him. Hey, you want to do a Jon Snow?
What did Kit Harington do? Did he do anything? Did he have a series that he? What did he do?
Yeah, he did that one like meteor movie or something like that, volcanoes and shit, and nothing hit for him. So.
I think we'll see it eventually. I don't. At my heart says this isn't the last thing in this universe, but I don't think you're going to see it as soon.
No, you get like 3 years, 3 years,
3 to 5. I think 3 to 5.
Yeah, you gotta give it some time,
and it depends if the next series is a hit.
Exactly. All right, well, in the last couple of lines before this episode ends.
I know we're recapping the episode here. So Lalo is killed in complete darkness. He looks at Gus one last time and laughs before dying. After everything is over, Mike and his guys clean up the scene at Kim's apartment and tells Jimmy and Kim that Howard came over drunk and rambled on about how it was their fault and left. He says that they should say they don't know what happened to him after he left. I'm going to continue here for a second, but I'm going to give Tony some flowers and me some flowers because, yes, they set it up that it was a suicide, and I said that Mike was going to clean up the scene. So it maybe didn't happen exactly the way both of us thought those two things would happen, but we were both right in different ways. Tony did say that they were going to set it up as a suicide of some sort, and I thought somehow Mike would clean up the scene because who else would do it? And we both happened to be right. Whatever. Yeah, I'm smelling my own farts here. I don't care.
We got it right. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, exactly. We got it right. That adds to the good category there. Okay, so Mike and his guys clean up the scene at Kim's apartment and tell Jimmy and Kim that Howard came over drunk, rambled about how it was their fault, and left. He says that they should say they don't know what happened to him after he left. Mike and his men bring Howard's dead body to the basement lab and bury it underground along with Lalo's body. Before they bury it, Mike takes Howard's shoes, wallet, and wedding ring. Okay, so they're buried in the lab the whole time. Howard gets the ultimate disrespect in death and then after death, being buried with the guy that kills him in an unmarked grave and taken care of in a really horrible way. Does Mike... people are going to want to know this. So before we read these last points, I do want to bring up the question that a lot of people have asked. And I know, does Mike ever tell Saul that Lalo's dead? Does Saul ever get verification, or is that just one of those hanging things in Breaking Bad that they're just going to be like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, he says Lalo. Who cares? Who cares? Give us a break. We've matched up everything. Do you want us to go all Attack of the Clones here and get everything perfect to feed it up, or are they actually going to have Mike just say, "Don't worry about that. You don't have to worry about him."
Even if you say that, you're implying that he's dead, right? You know, if you say, "Hey, you ain't got to worry about him anymore," you're implying he's dead. You know, so I would think that at some point, it's hard for me to think that he doesn't know. I mean, he may have to suspect.
So why does he say? And I'm only saying this because I've read this in the comments 7,000 times. Then why does Saul on Breaking Bad say it wasn't me? Did Lalo send you? Did Lalo send you? So does maybe Saul think Lalo has a backup plan, or is that just something that they're gonna leave as a loose end thing? And what the fuck? Give us a break.
They may loose end it, or they may, he may just be paranoid because he's seen the guy come back from the dead already. So he may just be paranoid.
I think you just hit it right there. He saw the guy come back once. If Mike keeps it vague enough and he's suddenly kidnapped and sent out to the desert, why wouldn't he maybe think, what the fuck? It could be Lalo. And just mention that as all the people in his head that could possibly be grabbing him in that situation, even the dead Lalo Salamanca. That's why he brought it up. I know it's convenient, but I'm going to give these guys a break on that one because it's such a minor detail.
Yeah, I think that would be the way it would go. And that's how you plan. He doesn't really know for sure, but they hint about him. You ain't got to worry about him no more.
A1 lady brings up a good point. I love how Vince is like, you don't have to. Tony's talking like a real Don now. You don't have to worry about him no more. A1 lady, great name, A1 lady. If they're buried in the lab, why were they not found in the lab after the lab burns down and the DEA investigates? They do find some bodies there, but it's not the bodies of them. It's a good question. It's a long time. Bodies have been decomposed. I guess you could say that they would find dental records at some point or find teeth or something. That is a good point. It's a good they did not find those bodies at that point in time. So
I thought that Lalo would get Han Soloed. I always said that he would get Han Soloed and was going to get stuck in there. So I thought that was what it was going to be, when it came down to it. So I think that could be another oversight.
Ooh. And it very well could be. And I want to say what Mester Ann's the fly, and that could be what the fly was buzzing around. It was buzzing around the dead bodies in the wall. It was
yeah,
very very.
It came from there. Some type of maggots in there.
Oh, gross. Okay, so let's finish this up here. Okay, so other details. Mike looked very upset that he was burying Howard with Lalo. Of course he was. I mentioned this earlier, and Mike is one of those dudes that takes everything onto himself. This is another brick in the wall that makes him feel like he's in the shit. He's on a path for the shit side of life, and there's no coming back. And after the German dude died, and now Howard, an innocent, out of the game. Tony, do you think Mike will give Kim and Jimmy any shit for fucking with Howard and bringing him in the game, like getting him involved? Is Mike gonna look at that disrespectfully at Jimmy and Kim, and that they put Howard in a position like that, or is that nothing.
They have so much season to do with this situation that I think the Howard thing isn't over. As I said, I think that if you look at the video I just put out there, the last video, not the last video, one I just did before that about the breakdown and everything when I talked about this leak. If you watch that video, I say in that video that I think it will come back to haunt them, because that's what I think the secret person, if the secret person, is there some type of, if he's in the main cast, the secret person, most likely he is in the Gene scenes. Seems better to be in the Gene scenes if he's going to be in all the rest of the episode. But if he is, the blood splatter that they show on that candle, and they show it there specifically when they have the Kim teaser, I don't think they're going to clean that blood splatter up. I think they're going to miss that blood splatter on the candle. And I think that's going to link Howard to the house, that blood splatter eventually. That's what I think is
and do you know who could figure it out? All right. We get a True Detective,
the Lincoln lawyer.
Yeah, a True Detective crossover with where Matthew McConaughey's True Detective character shows up.
Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, with Woody Harrelson. Both of them show up and they investigate. They're investigating this whole thing. If you've never watched it, I highly recommend the first and the third season of True Detective.
They're doing another one.
They are with Jodie Foster.
Yeah, with Jodie Foster. So
I want it to be good, Tony. I want us to talk about it and it to be good.
I just think that it has Jodie Foster. She's not going to sign on if it's not.
Yeah, and I gotta say, a lot of disrespect gets thrown on the second season of True Detective, and it deserves it. It's pretty shitty.
I've never seen Jodie Foster do anything bad in her whole career.
No.
Anything she picks she picks the right shit to do.
But season 3 was really good. What's his name? Mashan Ali. He killed it in that season. He was really awesome.
Ursula Ali.
Yeah, he was incredible. But yeah, season 2 is trash. I am excited for that last season. But anyways, let's read the rest of this. Mike looks very upset bearing Howard with Lalo. The cold open was at a beach with shoes floating in the water, being carried back and forth by the waves, which is really kind of sick because they show us the Howard setup before we actually see it. A bit further away from that is Howard's car with some classical music playing and his wallet and wedding ring on top of the car. Actual cocaine was left in Howard's car. Mike made it look like Howard visited Jimmy and Kim in his drunken stupor and left them to drive several states over to the beach somewhere and killed himself by just swimming into the ocean. And that's the rest of the spoilers. Basically, similar to what Tony was saying, like setting it up for a suicide of sorts. The question I have, Tony, in all of that spoiler or the leak thing from the episode, they don't mention this new character. So is this new character not in this first episode, or do they just not mention it because it's not relevant enough?
That's what's suspect. Does he come? Is he not in the episode? I would have to say he probably doesn't come up in the first episode. I don't think you need him in the first episode. I think you would need him in episode 2 after this happens. You know what I mean? So I don't think this episode requires, because now when you get rid of the whole Lalo situation and all that, what is there less to focus on for this end of this season?
This is the other thing. This confirms to me, and I'm gonna say this again. It confirms to me that we will get a full Gene episode, that we're likely going to get a major flash forwards, because what else is there to do? The Sandpiper money thing, a battle between Kim and Jimmy. Like, we have Kimmy and Jim. So much. We can't do that for 5 episodes. There's a lot of really good stuff to do, but that has to lead to a certain point. There needs to be a time jump of some sort now. We have to get the Saul's perspectives during the Breaking Bad timeline. We have to have the second to last episode be called Breaking and Bad, or I've heard it called like the two elements maybe called that, because everything is something and something this season. And that last episode, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm convinced it's a full Gene episode, and it's all in the future timeline. And to Tony's point, I don't see how we don't have Kim there.
Yeah, it just won't work if the ending doesn't have something to do with Kim and the Gene thing. Yeah, I think that the rest of the season is going to be, Jimmy and Kim breaking up and the aftermath of Howard. I don't think it goes well. I think it's going to be set up like but I don't think his wife. I don't think that no one's going to believe it. You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to be believable. So I think they're going to be fighting to keep that story going.
Okay, Tony. I put out a video on this subject. I don't think I've ever gotten your opinions because it's always been speculation, or we've talked about, it doesn't really matter. How do you think it's going to be depicted? What's your opinions, and how will the Jesse and Walt cameo play into the end of the series? And what's your gut feeling? Is it just going to be a cold open? Are they going to be a bigger part of it in some way? And I know I'm not holding you to this, but what kind of some of your thoughts about the Jesse and Walt thing?
I'm not going to give away too much because I'm doing a video on it, and I'm going to drop exactly what I think it's going to be. But I think it's going to be more than one scene. I'll say that.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think it's just going to be a drive-by where you see the back of their head and they smile and they wave, and that's the end of it. I think it'll be at least for 2 episodes. You'll see them 2 different times.
Now, will it be both of them, or is Walt going to play? I feel like Walt's going to play a bigger part than Jesse.
Yeah, you're going to see them both, but it's definitely going to be a Walt situation.
Right. I think Jesse is more going to be, they're not going to focus too much on Aaron Paul because the age thing where Bryan Cranston can look exactly like Walter White. There's no problem.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be a Walt thing, but they'll show Jesse. You know what I mean? A funny fact, my friend met Jesse. He brought a picture. He took a picture with him and everything else. So it was a crazy situation how he got in there and took a picture with him. But I guess he had some type of like alcohol of wine or something.
Oh, no, him and Bryan Cranston. I think it's a whiskey. No, it's
some type of alcohol, and they were doing a signing. They were doing a debut for it in the place where he was at, and he went.
Yeah, they were going to different bars, and they were drinking with people and stuff. And to answer your question, AOKI, it's the opposite. Tony is 0, and I'm the one that's that you'll say that.
You can think what he wants.
Rest in peace. Yeah, to me, it's hard for me to imagine that it's not going to be more of a bigger part that they're going to play if they're going to go in on it, and especially if they're going to go out on the Walt on this big story. So I think they're going to play more of a.
And we have more live streams to do. I'm not going to answer that question fully until that video drops, and I don't want no one else to put a video, listen to me, and then put the video out about it because it's happened before. So I'm not going to do that. And we have more live streams to do on this. So we'll come back and we'll talk about the whole Gene scenes and how it's going to end and everything else, and the whole cameos and stuff like that. This is basically on the spoiler for the episode, and that's what we focused on with this one. And I 100% think it's true. And again, people asking how did it get leaked? It's not really leaked. They showed it at the Tribeca Film Festival. It's open to the public. All you had to do was show up, and they showed it to you. So it's not a leak. They showed the episode. So that's a fact. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. Many of people, all the people who went there, seen the goddamn episode. That's it.
So for spin-off series, do you think we'll get the Jon Snow Jesse Alaska series? Oh, Jesse in the North. We'll do a crossover where it'll be a Jon Snow / Jesse Pinkman series.
That'd be amazing. We love Kelly Johnson is talking about it right now. He's talking about it right now. To you, will House of the Dragon be DOA? No, House of the Dragon is not DOA. House of the Dragon is coming out.
At minimum, it's going to find a very loyal fan base in the sense I mentioned mine earlier. Like the Sons of, it's going to find an audience.
It is, but if you can have a main character from the original show that people are already familiar with come back and do a show, obviously that's going to work better because they're familiar with it. There's people already saying, I look more forward to that. People love Kit Harington. They love that. So that is what it will be about and stuff like Better Call Jon Snow.
Better Call Jon Snow. But the House of Dragon premiere will break records.
Yeah. It will. It'll be a big show for HBO.
But the Jon Snow one might break that record.
Well, listen, people thought that this Han Solo, this Obi-Wan show was going to break records, and it didn't. People thought about a lot of these shows were supposed to be so great, and it didn't. So this because it had the big name, and that Obi-Wan show was like 5 years in the making, before it dropped.
It-
You know what I mean?
it-
Still,
it
the
ended
last
pretty-
episode,
It ended pretty damn strong.
I will say, I'm not going to talk about it, but I
Yeah,
will
the
say
last
that
two. I'd say the last two. Like
I will say
this would have been a good movie. This would have been a good movie because the last two episodes were damn freaking good. They were some of the best Star Wars stuff I've seen in years.
I will say this, that last episode, that
was good,
fight,
dude, that was good.
The fight was amazing. The fight was movie level fight.
Yes.
It was the best Jedi fight I've ever seen, even better than anything in the movies.
Yeah.
I've never seen a better Jedi fight ever in my life that they showed. That's what I've always wanted.
Better call Darth Maul. Okay, so sorry.
But that's what that. All right, we're gonna wrap this up.
Yep.
And everything.
There's only so much we can talk about these spoilers or these leaks.
We try to keep down. We like to keep it to an hour so it's rewatchable for people. You know, you put something there for 3 hours, people see it, they don't want to watch it. So an hour and 20 minutes, people may watch it and stuff like that after it gets off there. But yeah, we thank everyone for coming out here. We're back next week. Listen, we're gonna do a from stream next week. All right, we're gonna figure out a day to do it. It's hard to do a from stream because we talked about just about everything.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm not sure what else we could talk about, but
yeah, we've talked about everything from. You know, so we'll try. I'll try to think of something to do from and talk about. But we talked.
I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you about off air about what night. I got some house guests next week, so maybe we might be able to do it Tuesday night, maybe.
All right, that works. And
we'll
be back with Better Call Saul again. We got more characters to break down. Again, you know, we can't come in here and talk about what happens next episode because I think we know.
Yeah, this is where it becomes difficult because it's hard to do speculations now because we feel like we know what happens here, and do we speculate the next episode? But no, it's hard. We're at a weird impasse with the Better Call Saul right now. Now that this information's out there, AMC, just start the season early. Come on.
Yeah, come on. We're waiting for us. So stop doing it to us like that. You know what I mean?
Just do it.
You know, let the people know, Phil, what you got coming up.
I got a new Better Call Saul video coming out tomorrow. Thank you to everyone that's checked out the last two videos. I was covering The Boys. I think I'm going to do a live stream with Joe coming up soon. Big episode of The Boys coming up, the Hero Gasm episode, which is looking to be very entertaining and fun. So that's what's coming up on my channel, The Boys and Better Call Saul stuff. I do recap episodes after every episode of Better Call Saul right after it airs on the East Coast time. So jump on in right afterwards. Tony's gonna be popping in a couple times through the season to babble about it. We'll have some fun recapping the episode. And thank you to everyone that's been checking out my stuff the last couple of days, and thank you to Tony for some help along the way. So yeah, the Boys stuff is good. If you like The Boys, this season of The Boys has been a lot of fun. Oh, and one other thing, I don't know how I'm going to cover it because it's a tough show, and I know Tony probably wants to cover it too, but I don't know how to cover this show sometimes. I am going to probably at least do a Stranger Things season review after the 2 episodes drop on July 1st.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
I have to say I really like the season of Stranger Things. It's my favorite season since the first one. And if you like the show, definitely check that out. And hopefully Tony and I, and maybe if Bridge is feeling better, I know he's watching the show too. But at least Tony and I can do a Stranger Things on my channel or over here, or both. When the season ends, because it's a good season of Stranger Things if you like that show.
Yeah, I'll be doing Evil as soon as it's done. I'll be doing Evil, starting with episode 3. You know what I mean? So we'll be doing Evil. So if you like that show, Evil, we'll look forward to seeing the reviews on this channel. Again, if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up to spread this across the realm, and as always, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.